beautiful butterflies, and welcome to episode 4 of Once Upon a Spoiler. I am your host, Samantha Elliott, and yes, you heard me right. We got married. It was such an incredibly perfect day. We are so happy and just extremely grateful. I hope you all are doing fantastically well. I'm so excited to discuss this episode with you all today. I would like to take a moment to let you guys know that I am so sorry that it's taken me so long to get back to this, but I'm sure you all understand given the wedding, and unfortunately, we've been going through our yearly sick time, but cross our fingers that's over with now. We also just adopted a new puppy. She is a border collie mix. Her name is Voodoo, and she has been a wonderful addition to our family. She is incredibly smart and sweet and just everything we could have ever hoped for in a puppy. I would like to go ahead and give you guys a little tip, in case you didn't notice. Whenever you go to adopt an animal, do yourselves a favor and take that animal straight home. Don't make any stops. Don't even try to stop to get the dog a collar or harness. Whenever we were going through the adoption process, we weren't told that. We didn't know about that little tidbit of it, and that is a very important part to know because whenever we were leaving the pet supermarket, she ended up running off. She got out of her harness and she just took off. She is so fast, so we were not able to catch up with her, and so she was in the woods for about 24 hours until we were able to thankfully get her back. Nothing bad happened to her whenever she was out in the woods. She stayed in the same area, and we got incredibly lucky, and now she is safe. She is home. We are being trained, and she is just the best. I couldn't have hoped for anything else. She is perfect. So, having said that, I really just want to go ahead and dive headfirst into this episode. I realized that I forgot to share my favorite line from episode 3, and I have to say that it was whenever Emma was trying to tell Henry to go home when they were out in the woods searching for John Doe and talking about Regina. She goes, "She's gonna kill me," and then you, and then me again. That line was just hilarious and perfectly executed, and I loved it so much. I didn't forget my favorite line for this here episode 4, I promise, so we have that to look forward to. Today, as I just said, we are going to be discussing Season 1, Episode 4 of Once Upon a Time, titled The Price of Gold. It was directed by David Solomon, edited by David Goodman, and the original air date was November 13th, 2011. Now, behind the logo, we see a fairy whom I have to just go ahead and spoil this for you. She is the one that Rumpelstiltskin is about to murder. But the actual episode opens up to Cinderella's story in the Enchanted Forest. We see the evil stepmother and sisters getting into their carriage to go to the ball, but Cinderella is left behind to do chores. The scene is just gorgeous with all of that beautiful green and colorful flowers planted behind. It's all so pretty. We even get to see some fireworks go off in the distance, which I kind of wonder how they came about making those fireworks, but I also have to assume that it's just magic because later on, in the show, we find out that guess who can create fireworks with her magic? Emma Swan. Another spoil. But either way, I just think that it's really awesome that they have those fireworks there. I do have to say, might want to look out for all those trees. Okay, anyway. Cinderella is obviously upset, but then her fairy godmother appears and begins her speech on how Cinderella will indeed go to the ball. But then she is suddenly murdered by none other than Rumpelstiltskin, and he only murdered her for the wand that she possessed. Rumple tries to make it out like he did Cinderella a favor, telling her that all magic comes with a price, but Cinderella asks him to still use the wand and help her, so they end up making a deal and he has her sign one of his infamous contracts. She doesn't question what the price is, but we soon find out that it is indeed a steep one. She signs the contract, and Rumple uses the wand to give her this beautiful blue dress and, of course, glass slippers. I really love how he says every story needs a memorable detail. That line and the delivery of it was just wonderful. So I have my first 3 talking points right here. Number 1 is going to have to be the fairy godmother's dress. I have to say is absolutely gorgeous. The color is just perfect. It looks wonderful on her. They did a great job with the costume jewelry as well. Everything about it is just beautiful. Next, for talking point number 2, I have to say I honestly love how Cinderella just signs her name on the contract that Rumple presented her with without even trying to read it to figure out what the exact price of what she is signing for is, just like Ariel did in the Little Mermaid movie, which I would just like to share with you all is my all-time favorite. Growing up, I used to watch it on repeat so much it was ridiculous. And since we're talking about it, the live action versions that they have been working on here recently and releasing, Beauty and the Beast, I have to say, is my favorite. They did such an incredible job on it, and it is just so beautiful and wonderful to watch. I thought that they did a phenomenal job with Cinderella, starring Richard Madden from Game of Thrones. He is an incredible actor. And last but most certainly not least, the live action Aladdin, that was perfect. I loved everything about it. The fact that Will Smith just totally recreated his own genie while still paying tribute to Robin Williams. May he rest in peace. He will forever remain in my heart. Okay, sorry, little tangent there, but I just wanted to share that with you all. So, talking point number three is going to be Cinderella's dress. I thought that it was absolutely beautiful too. The way that the color shines and changes in different light is just brilliant. The straps are perfect. It's all just absolutely wonderful. I really thought that they did a phenomenal job. Up next, we're taken to Storybrooke to find Emma walking Henry to school. They're discussing the mayor and the fact that she doesn't like Emma walking with Henry every morning. Henry tells Emma that she's brave and that they will need that for Operation Cobra. They have this sweet moment when Henry begins talking about them needing code names for each other and asks what he should call her, but Emma, being herself, tells him to just call her Emma for now. Henry gets on the bus and the sheriff approaches Emma to offer her a job as his deputy. She declines but is given his card in case she changes her mind. Real quick, talking point right here, what's with the lady in the background sweeping the sidewalk while Henry and Emma are walking? I just thought that it was funny because clearly it's windy and chilly outside, yet she is sweeping the sidewalk. I mean, come on, who else wouldn't find that funny? Up next, we see Emma at Granny's diner, and Regina comes in to speak with her. Regina basically tells Emma that based on her track record, she won't be in town and in Henry's life for long, that she needs to leave soon and to give Henry a clean break so that he won't be hurt in a year when and if she were to leave. Based on her past, I don't particularly think that that's fair, but Emma tries to tell Regina that she doesn't know who she truly is, and Regina makes more snide comments and then just walks out of the diner. Emma spills her hot cocoa on herself and then she goes to the back to use the washing machine, and that is when we meet Ashley, aka Cinderella. Ironically enough, she is doing laundry and is so pregnant she could pop at any given second. Her and Emma discuss the situation that Ashley is in and how everyone is telling her that she can't do it, she can't be a mother. And this is when Emma tells her that she needs to push back and tell people, no, this is who I am, I can do this. And I would just like to go ahead and tell you that that is my favorite line in this episode. It's so powerful and speaks to me not only as a mother, but also knowing what it's like to have someone tell you that you can't do something or simply shows no belief in you whatsoever. You truly do just have to push past it and be the one that believes in you, because in the end, your opinion is the only one that matters, and you are the only one who is truly stopping yourself from doing and accomplishing whatever it is that you have your heart set on. That scene really just gives me chills because of how powerful the moment and message is. And like I said, as a mother, I truly appreciated seeing that mama bear come out, and we all knew that it was right there in her, just trying so hard to claw its way out. And more irony, Emma tells Ashley that there are no fairy godmothers in this world. Oh, if they only knew. More like believed. Haha. Talking point right here. If you think about it, when we meet Ashley in Storybrooke, she has been pregnant for 28 years. All of them and their bodies literally frozen in time, and she has been pregnant for 28 years. That is insane. And they never talk about it in the show. So I wanted to talk about it here, no matter how brief. After this, we see Mr. Gold closing up his pawn shop. He gets this expression on his face that shows he can feel that he's being watched. Proceeding to lock the door and walk away, the camera pans to the side of the building and we find Ashley approaching as Gold is walking away so that she can break into his shop to steal something. He catches her red-handed, then she sprays him with pepper spray. He gets knocked out on his way down to the floor. She finds his keys on him and then uses them to get into his safe. Talking point right here, the way that Robert Carlyle did his fall after Ashley sprayed him in the face with that pepper spray was honestly really funny and just too perfect. And I feel like he did a fantastic job making that look good, and I just wanted to point out that little stunt. Fade away to Regina touching up her makeup, talking to Henry about her city council meeting that he is to stay home and that she'll be back at 5 o'clock sharp. Henry, of course, takes the opportunity to leave the house and go see Emma, as if anyone expected anything different. We're then taken back to Mary Margaret's apartment where Emma is unpacking her boxes. They talk for a brief moment about how little Emma keeps before there is a sudden knock on the door. Who should it be but Mr. Gold, first formally introducing himself, recalling their first meeting, and requests Emma's help in finding Ashley and the thing that she stole from him, which he wishes to keep what that is a secret, at least for now. They talk about Ashley for a moment, and he basically gains Emma's help by stating that he doesn't want to see Ashley's baby born in jail. And of course, this is something that Emma can truly connect with, so she agrees to try to find her. Henry comes through the door and is totally taken aback by the fact that Gold is there. However, Gold leaves, wishing Emma good luck on her search, and Henry asks Emma who Gold really is, stating that he hasn't figured it out yet. Part of me finds that difficult to believe given how smart and intuitive Henry is, but I suppose he can't just know everything about everyone, and I'm sure the writers and directors had their reasons as well, especially just to kind of help keep the audience on their toes. That is honestly one thing that I truly do love about this show is the mystery, and whenever you finally do figure out something that you've been wondering for quite some time, you're like, oh my god, I totally should have realized that, because it was always right there. We just needed some help to see it, that's all. Henry tells Emma that Regina will be gone until 5 o'clock and that he wants to spend some time with her, but now she has someone to find, so she can't. Henry wants to help her find Ashley, but Emma insists that it might be too dangerous for him. They have some back and forth banter about him wanting to come, and him being the clever kid that he is, manages to basically sucker Emma into letting him help by stating that he just wants to spend more time with her. When they get into Emma's yellow bug, Henry asks Emma what the maid's story is, and we are taken back to the enchanted forest where Cinderella is watching fireworks go off for her and her now husband on their wedding day. And how perfect is it that Henry kept calling her a maid, given that she's Cinderella? I love the irony in this show so much. It's just fantastic. After Cinderella and Prince Thomas walk back to the ballroom, they are first greeted by Snow White, Prince Charming, and Thomas's father. The dance begins, and I have to say, this moment with everyone dancing the way they had it choreographed, to have everyone switch partners, but yet when Snow started dancing with Cinderella, they kept everyone else moving so beautifully. The whole thing is just incredibly clever. Then Rumple slides into the dance and has that very intense dialogue. It is just all so perfect and flawlessly done. Snow tells Cinderella that she's proud of her at the end of their little heart-to-heart while they are dancing together, and that's when Rumpelstiltskin smoothly slides in, stating that he's proud of her too. They begin talking about their deal, and she asks him what it is that he wants. He tells her that it's something she doesn't have yet, but that he knows is coming, and that it is her firstborn child. Rumple spins her, he leaves, and she is left scared and confused. Talking point right here, if you're keeping track, this one's going to be number 7. I have them numbered just to kind of help me keep track. But I have to say, the dresses and the costumes they did for everyone for Cinderella and Prince Thomas's wedding are all absolutely incredible and so breathtaking. I love that they are both wearing white. Her dress has all of those beautiful flowers on it, the intricate silver lines that shine, her hair with those beautiful curls. It's just all so gorgeous. And not only that, I love Snow's dress so much. It is a perfect shade of purple, which ironically is my favorite color. I love the way they did her hair for this too, and Charming is looking very sharp as well. Even Rumple came in there looking good. The costume designers did a wonderful job, and I'm so happy we get to witness such beautiful artwork. Next, we find Cinderella packing a bag when Prince Thomas comes back and asks her what's going on. She tells him that she's pregnant and explains the deal that she made with Rumpelstiltskin. They discuss possibilities of ways to get out of the deal, and he suggests that they make another deal with Rumple, which ends up being very clever, but we'll have to discuss what that is later because this here next scene takes us back to Emma and Henry and Storybrooke on their search for Ashley. 2 talking points right here real quick, number 8 and 9. I know that I keep bringing up wardrobe and how much I love all of it in this episode, but come on, can you blame me? And in this scene, Cinderella's dress that she has on is so adorable. I love it so much, and I would like to have it in multiple colors. It is that pretty. Talking point number 9. She was going to just up and leave him, packing her things to run away, knowing she was pregnant and going to have to face Rumpelstiltskin on her own. But Her husband is so incredibly understanding of the entire situation and cares so much about her that he suggests they make another deal with Rumple just to get her out of the first one. Back in Storybrooke, Emma and Henry first talk to Ruby in the diner, and Ruby ends up telling Emma about how hard Ashley's been trying to get her life together before she has the baby. She then tells her about Ashley's ex and the father of her child and leads her in his direction, but we all know that this is simply a distraction in order to help Ashley have enough time to get out of town. Honestly, though, I have to say, I really liked what they did with Billy and him dropping Ruby's car with his tow truck. It was a very nice hint to what is about to happen, and Henry puts the pieces together and figures out who Ashley really is. Emma shows up at Ashley's ex Sean's house to speak with him about where Ashley might be, but his father steps in and basically tells Sean off. Then he tells Emma about how Ashley is not capable of being a mother, as well as the deal that she made with Mr. Gold. Emma is understandably upset because she didn't know that what she was hired to bring back to Rumple was the baby. Camera pans to Henry and Emma in the car discussing the deal that was made, and basically Emma says that if Ashley wants to be a mother, she should be given that opportunity, regardless of any deal that's been made. They go back to Granny's diner to talk to Ruby, discussing the deal, the fact that Ruby knew about it, and this is when Emma finds out that Ruby let Ashley borrow her car so that she can get out of town. Ruby doesn't want to tell Emma where Ashley is going in front of Henry, so Emma talks him into going back home so that she can get the answers that she needs. Henry agrees, and Ruby tells Emma where Ashley went. I really loved how Emma told Ruby not to let Ashley deal with Gold without her, and she knows that Emma's right too. The camera pans back to Emma in her car when suddenly Henry leans up from the back seat, taking Emma by surprise and asking about where Ashley went. Then he starts to tell Emma that something bad will happen to Ashley if she tries to leave town. He convinces Emma to let him stay with her, stating that if she took him home, then she will lose too much time and then something bad is sure to happen. Back to the Enchanted Forest to find Cinderella, Prince Thomas, Charming, and Grumpy discussing Rumpelstiltskin and the cell that they have created for him. They also tell Cinderella the plans for trapping Rumpelstiltskin so that they can place him in the cell. She is understandably unsure of this, stating that magic is what got her into the situation in the first place, and wonders what the price will be for tricking Rumpelstiltskin. Thomas says that whatever the price may be, he will pay it for the safety of her and their child. Back to Storybrooke, where Emma is rushing to catch up to find Ashley. Henry spots the car on the side of the road. They get out to look for her, only to find her on the ground outside of her car, about 10 feet away, in labor. They all get back in Emma's bug, and Emma drives Ashley to the hospital. On the way, Emma asks Ashley if she is truly ready to be a mother and tells her that no matter what, she could never run away from that child. It's all very heart-touching because Henry is very intently listening to Emma's words and taking it all to heart. But I think that this is also the moment where Emma truly realizes those words for herself, so it's like she's not only telling Ashley what she must do as a mother, but herself. Back to the Enchanted Forest, where Cinderella awaits Rumpelstiltskin so they can alter their deal. She tells him that she is pregnant with twins, and in exchange for the other child, requests that he help their kingdom with crops and financial stability. Alright, talking point number 10 right here. I have to let you all know that when she shows him the contract, there's a deleted scene where she goes to unroll it, but it's upside down. And for a moment, Robert Carlyle, he stays in character, and he leans in towards the contract and goes, "Oh, yes, yes," apart from the fact that it's upside down. And when I saw that, I could not stop laughing. It was so hilarious, and I love it so much. Now every time I watch this scene, I'm gonna think back on that, and I'm not gonna help but laugh because it's just that funny. Um, if you want to see it yourself, just go to YouTube and search season 1 deleted scenes, and you'll find it in a video with multiple other scenes that are all fantastic as well. I just really wanted to point that one out to you guys because, oh my god. So back to the story. Rumple has a feeling that something is up with the quill and that it will indeed trap him, so he warns her of the consequences, says his infamous line, "All magic comes with a price," and signs the contract anyway. Immediately after he is frozen, he tells her that no matter what, he will have her baby. Talking point number 11. Okay, so this is going to be a major spoiler alert right here, so if you're not ready for it or haven't seen the rest of the show, fast forward a little bit. Okay, have you fast forwarded it? Good. Alright, for those of you that stayed. When it comes to Rumpelstiltskin being trapped and placed in that cell, he knew that it was coming. He knew exactly what would happen, and yet he still signed that contract anyway, because that cell is where he indeed wanted to be. He can see the future and therefore knew that that's where he needed to be in order for everything to happen the way that it did and all the necessary choices to be made, such as Regina killing her father, in order to enact the curse. Rumple may do some messed up stuff and make some very questionable decisions, but literally everything he's doing is all so that he can find his son and be reunited with him. Rumple is a very twisted man, but all of what he does is out of love and desperation to get his son back. Rumpelstiltskin is quite the twisted, complicated character. But we fade back to Storybrooke, where Emma and Henry await the news of Ashley and the baby. Before the nurse comes to tell them that Ashley and the baby are safe and healthy, Henry and Emma discuss how Emma is the only one that can leave town and not be hurt when attempting to do so. After the nurse comes to give them the news, Mr. Gold shows up and thanks Emma for bringing him his merchandise. Honestly, him calling the baby merchandise doesn't quite sit right with me, but that's neither here nor there, and I'm just going to leave that where it is. Back to the Enchanted Forest, where Cinderella is afraid for what's to come, but Prince Thomas does his best to comfort her. Thomas promises her that everything will be okay and asks how Alexandra is doing, referring to the baby. Cinderella has what I can only imagine are Braxton Hicks contractions, and Thomas runs off to get her some water. When he doesn't return, she goes to the well to look for him, but he's disappeared. Cinderella is definitely worried and immediately goes to question Rumple as to where he's gone. Rumple tells her that he doesn't know what's happened, but that all magic comes with a price, and until the baby is his, she will never be able to find Thomas. Once again, we go back to Storybrooke, where Emma is confronting Gold about the quote-unquote merchandise that she was hired to retrieve. They have a very interesting conversation about the way Gold works and his contracts, and eventually Emma decides that the best way to get Ashley out of her contract with Gold is to make a deal with him herself. She does so, and no matter what or when, Emma owes Gold a favor. Talking point number 12, I absolutely loved when Gold goes, "I like you, Miss Swan." I don't know why, but it's just absolutely wonderful the way he said it and his body movement when he said it too. It was perfect, and that line just really sticks out to me. Emma and Henry then go into the room where Ashley and the baby are. Emma tells Ashley that she no longer has to give up her child, and she is extremely happy and grateful for what Emma has done for her. We learn that the baby's name is Alexandra, and I love it so much, that little throwback to the Enchanted Forest. It's totally adorable. Emma realizes that it's almost 5 o'clock and they have to hurry to get Henry back home before Regina gets there. In the next scene, we find Regina leaving from her quote-unquote council meeting, but we find out that it's just a cover so that her and Sheriff Graham can sleep together in secret. Back to Emma and Henry in the car, and Emma suggests the nickname Pumpkin for herself in honor of Cinderella. Henry tells her no, and that she's not ready for her real one yet. I thought that little tidbit was very cute, I have to say. They get to Henry's house. Henry goes to run inside the house when Emma calls back to him, bringing up the conversation that they had at the hospital about Emma being able to leave town, and then she says, "See you tomorrow." And y'all, I literally tear up every single time I see this part in the episode. It's just so incredibly heartwarming and makes me so happy for both Emma and Henry. He smiles this wonderful smile back at her and quickly runs inside, loses a shoe on the staircase, ironically, on his way up to his room, very smoothly hops into bed and casually pretends to read a book. Regina gets upset at the shoe on the stairs and puts it on Henry's bed, telling him to be more careful. I love how punctual she is too, so on time Henry can be sneaky and knows when to leave and come back without her even knowing. We go back to the hospital to find Sean coming to meet his daughter and brings her her first pair of slippers. They're too big, of course, but the moment is still sweet and very beautiful. Talking point number 13 right here. There's another deleted scene for this part, and it is absolutely hysterical. If you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend you go and look it up on YouTube. It is a baby Alexandra specialty indeed. Sean is about to ask Ashley what the baby's name is when baby has some tummy troubles and lets out a wet present to be cleaned up later. And of course, they couldn't help but laugh as well when it happened, but like, seriously, who wouldn't laugh at that? I'm sorry if y'all, it's so funny. I had to tell you guys about that, and I really hope that you go and look up the video on YouTube because it truly is hilarious. So back to the story. Emma calls Sheriff Graham, telling him that she will take the job as his deputy, stating that some roots would be nice for her to have, and that's when he reaches under the bed to grab his socks, which is our key that he is the one that is sleeping with Mayor Mills. Final talking point number 14 right here. When Emma is on the phone with Sheriff Graham telling him that she will accept the job as his deputy and stating that some roots would be nice, I truly appreciated that she said it that way. You can really tell that what Regina said back to her in Granny's Diner stuck with her for all that time, and just how much she is truly trying to be there for Henry and stay in his life permanently. It's wonderful character build, and I really loved and appreciated it. But that sadly is the end of this episode. I can't wait for next week's episode. It's going to be absolutely great. I'm very excited to continue along this journey with you guys. And yeah, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of Once Upon a Spoiler. Please come back and join me for next week's episode as we discuss Season 1, Episode 5 of Once Upon a Time. Thanks again to Traffic Dubstep for the intro and outro music. The track is called Hibernation, and I will add the links for you all in the description of this episode if you would like to check them out. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at onceuponaspoilerpod@gmail.com. Again, that's onceuponaspoilerpod@gmail.com. Use the subject line to reference which episode or type in question if you would like to ask me anything. Add in your first name if you want me to say it on this here podcast, or just let me know if you wish to remain anonymous, and I will respect your wishes. I'll go through, pull some at random to be discussed for our specially dedicated butterfly episodes. Alright, my beautiful butterflies, flap those gorgeous wings and let's celebrate this beautiful life together. Thank you all again for joining me, and I wish you all a most wonderful week.